The headlines have painted Apple as a hero, with its app tracking transparency, ATT, iPhone feature introduced in iOS 14.5 beating Facebook by halting its ability to track people across other apps and websites. But the tone been changing of late as people realize the surprising problem with Apple's best iPhone privacy feature: it doesn't stop all tracking, and it's open to interpretation. That's the subject of a new report in respected UK newspaper The Financial Times, which says Apple is letting the likes of Snapchat and Facebook get away with some tracking of iPhone users. When an iPhone user says no to tracking, Apple specifically takes away the identifier for advertisers, IDFA, from the developer. Apple is able to perform this task on a technical level by revoking access to the unique number that identifies your specific iPhone, and replacing it with a string of zeros. But app makers are still acquiring user-level data that's anonymized and aggregated with other devices, MacRumors points out. This doesn't tie the data to a specific iPhone. The FT calls it an unacknowledged shift that lets companies follow a much looser interpretation of its controversial privacy policy. Apple's website says it is not considered tracking when the data is linked solely on the end user's device and is not sent off the device in a way that can identify. So does this break Apple's ATT rules? It's open to interpretation, which is the issue, but some experts say yes. Analyst Eric Seufert says on Twitter that the issue the FT describes does in fact violate Apple's ATT rules. If user-level click/install attribution is happening at all with the IP address, then that violates ATT. This is especially true if the data changes hands between 1SV/3 party companies, he wrote in a tweet. Seufert adds that using an IP address to identify a user for attribution, even if that user's data is only reported at a campaign level, very much qualifies as deriving data from a device for the purpose of uniquely identifying it. The altitude of later aggregation of that data is irrelevant, he